Dancing with the Stars. And before we get on to Cheryl, I just want to say I've still got an issue with those judges for kicking or for contributing to Psycho Mike being kicked off Dancing with the Stars. Lem, I'm coming for you, dude. I am. I swear to God. Okay, Cheryl, you had an issue with the recent appearance of Chris Brown on Dancing with the Stars. What was your opinion about that?
Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and you know, for me, he's an amazing performer, super talented, but because of the issues I dealt with abuse, I'm just not sure if he was, you know, ready.
It certainly triggered you a little bit.
A little bit.
Understandably. But I think Rosie O'Donnell has raised some really interesting issues about him, saying that he himself must have been a trauma survivor to have these violence issues and these domestic violence issues. And it is something worth pointing out that people that are physically abused in childhood do these kinds of things, and they too need their own help and their own chance to get well. So I'm just glad we're having this conversation, because you know the deal is, what do you do with people that do things that are not good in their adult life? And yet you feel sympathetic for them because of some of the things that happened earlier. It's still not okay to do some of the things that we see people doing these days. So now you're in treatment, is that right?
I am in treatment for the past year.
How's that going for you?
It's been amazing. It's been tough, but it's been hard to show emotion. It's been hard for me to cry. For some reason, it's so easy for me to talk about my past without, like you said, showing emotion.
Yeah, connecting the emotion.
Connecting the emotion. And
it's too painful.
It is. Yeah. It is too painful.
You'll get there. Let's go to a Facebook question, another one. This is from Erica F. How difficult, I love this stuff. How difficult was it to build relationships with men, romantic and friendship? Also, did you tell every boyfriend you dated about your sexual abuse or not at all? This is very interesting.
That is interesting. For the long-term relationships, I would talk about my sexual abuse.
How did the guys respond to that?
Oh, I want to kill that guy.
Oh, yeah, good.
You know, straight into that.
Like, I'm
great.
That must have made you feel good.
Yeah, it just didn't really make any sense to me whatsoever. But I always, you know, I have trust issues.
Of course.
It's really hard for me to trust somebody.
Yeah, and again, I always try to make sense of these conversations for people at home, that when people have trauma and I'm trying to work with them, trust is the biggest problem. Because really what we're trying to get somebody to do is just tolerate closeness. Trust the availability of another person, and that requires this kind of close connection. And when you expect abuse and you feel vulnerable, it's very hard to trust that it's going to be safe.
And I'm also attracted to unavailable men.
Well, yeah, that's what this question sort of is alluding to. How difficult was it to build a relationship with men when you're attracted to the bad boys? And the good boys that come around, I'm completely turned off. I have to say, I can't talk present. I'm trying to talk past. You're trying to get into a relationship.
I'm trying.
Just for people at home, so they understand what it feels like when you're one of these people that goes after the bad boys. When an available guy would come around, and
disgusting.
You feel disgusted.
I feel disgusted.
They feel clingy.
A little bit. Yeah. They feel clingy. It's like, get off me.
Yeah, they feel clingy or boring.
Or boring. That's a good word. I always use.
So what do you do?
I used to use that. I break it off.
Nuke it.
Yeah.
Sabotage it in some way.
It's horrible.
It's not horrible. It's the love addiction, love avoidance kind of cycles that people get into. It's how.
But now I'm ready for the available men.
Are you?
Yes.
Anything you want to tell the guys out there?
I'm available. I don't want to seem desperate, though.
All right, let's go to another Facebook question. This is from Natasha. She says, since you've written a book and put it all out there, has it helped you forgive the act of molestation, the person who committed it to?
I don't think I'll ever forgive him. I know he just got out of jail. You know.
I understand he showed up at your dad's.
He showed up at my dad's at his dental practice and said, I never did that to your daughters. I'm surprised my dad didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Because I think if I was in his shoes, I would have.
There's also other people that victims of abuse need to forgive as well, aren't there?
Yeah.
Who?
Themselves.
Very much so. Why do you need to blame yourself?
Well, I don't blame myself with the molestation as much as the abusive relationships I were in. I just hate to keep blaming my past. It's like, why does this constantly have to be an issue? Why can't I just change? You know, that for me is like, oh, I can blame it on a whole bunch of people.
Because you asked a question that I think in our world today we take way too glib, which is, hey, you just need to change. Can't you see what you're doing? You're good with a guy that's domestic violence. Get out of there. Don't you see it? Of course you saw it. But you can't change unless you change what's going on inside here. And until you trust and get close and connect yourself more, change is going to be almost impossible. Because every time you get close to a real person, guess how they're going to feel? Clingy and boring. And
but I think I'm in a good place in my life right now. I feel like I want to heal, and I'm seeing my therapist regularly, and for me that's helped me a lot. And I don't think I'm gonna ever be cured, but at least I can try and help myself.
You listen, people that have these kinds of experiences get a lot better, and you can start to have real close relationships. What do you want to tell people out there? I mean, most people have written a book like this to want to be an inspiration to other people. Is that safe to say in your case?
That
you
is
want to
safe
help
to
others?
say. I do want to help others. I think especially with abusive relationships, it can get really dangerous.
Well, what's the primary message you want to give people out there?
To talk to someone you trust about something, some relationship that you're in.
How did you get out?
Talking to a friend.
And they got you out?
They helped. In the beginning, I didn't listen, but if I kept that to myself, you know, it would have been really hard for me to get out. But also, dancing really helped me. Having a passion in life, trying to stay focused in what I love to do and not let that person take that away from me.
Did they almost?
Absolutely.
How bad did it get?
It got really bad. It got really bad to where I was ready to move away with this person, leave everything, leave my family, my friends, my career. You know, there's moments I would sneak out of the house to go meet him in the mornings, like at 6 a.m. It would get so unhealthy, and so it was an addiction for me. And it got to the point where I was ready to drop my whole life for this person that was abusing me.
And then when he would go away, would you go into a panic?
Absolutely. I couldn't eat for days.
You'd have withdrawal.
Major.
Yeah, well, first of all, I commend you for writing the book. This stuff is so very common out there. Did you have any other complications, eating disorder, cutting, anything like that? Because sometimes that comes along with all this.
No.
Just boys.
Just boys, yeah.
All right.
I love food too much. I couldn't have an eating disorder.
Fair enough. All right, well, listen, I just want to sort of make sense of this again for people at home, that if you have experiences in childhood where you have felt terrorized, out of control, helpless, often this means abandonment, neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, that is childhood trauma. And you may put it aside, right? I'm sure you spent many years going, I've dealt with that, I've dealt with that.
It's almost like as if it never happened to me.
That didn't even happen to me.
Right.
How did you know you had to bring it up into the present, though? How did you know you had to dredge this all up again?
That's the only way I'll heal.
Who told you that? How'd you learn that?
My therapist.
But how'd you know to go get therapy? Your friends got you out.
Yes.
Okay.
My friends.
Yeah. So that is the point here, that you have to realize that these experiences in childhood lead to patterns in one's young adult life that can't just change, because you're attracted to certain kinds of people in certain kinds of situations, and you obsess about them, you're driven and motivated to pursue them, and then the alternatives that are healthy, not so good.
Not so good.
Do we need to say thank you to some of your friends that pulled you out of this?
Yes, we do.
Who was that?
Oh, Joanne McCartney, I got to thank her because she helped me actually go and get therapy. I mean, she's been amazing. She's my one really good friend.
Well, it's nice. It is other people. Again, it's a theme I want to hit over and over in this show, which is that we affect one another. If you didn't have that person, that golden cord pulling you out, you'd still be in that mess. Cheryl, thank you for joining. Well done.
Thanks.
We're already getting responses to Cheryl's comments right here about her childhood secret. We will take a call related to just that, and I'll be answering more of your questions. Remember, no topic off limit, and later, celebrity obsession actor Adrian Grenier from Entourage is here to help me answer this question. What does our preoccupation with stars say about us?